So let's get started. Today we will discuss loops. So let's save the file with the name 04 loops. Okay. Yeah. So generally what happens is that sometimes we want to execute some statement multiple times, yeah, and that's why we use loops. So let's give you an example. Okay. So suppose you want to print, let's say 1 to 10. 1 to 10. Yeah. So what you can do is you can say a variable like I is equal to, let's say 1, and you say, well, while I is less than, we will discuss that later. So the simplest is that while I is less than 10, I want to print I, and then you say every time I print I also want to increase the I by 1, right? And then you can run it and let's see what happens. Okay, you run it, it went on and it prints the number
But
from 1
there's
to
a problem.
It's not printing the number 10, right? So you want to make it less than equal to, so it went and prints that till 10.
Or you could make at
So-
the top this 10 number to 11.
Yeah, or you can make it 11. So you can make less than 11 and that will also work. So the way it works is that it comes here, the statement is while, and it checks is this expression true. If the expression is true, it's gonna execute all the statement one by one inside the indentation. So it includes the first print statement and then it executes the second print statement, and this is print. This one is outside the loop. So it is gonna execute only once. So this is outside the loop, and whatever is indented after one tab, that is inside the loop. Okay, so basically you evaluate. So first time I is 1 is less than 11, so you execute the print statement. Then you go and increase the I value to 2. Now 2 is less than 11, yes, so it's gonna execute print I again
Until it gets to 10.
yeah, then it's gonna go 3, 4, 5,
10.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and when it becomes 11, then it becomes false and it executes, it goes outside the loop. So you can also print the I value. So what is the I value here if we print it? What's gonna be I value outside the loop?
11.
Yeah, the I value will be 11. Okay, so if you print it, the I value is
Outside
11.
the loop 11.
Yeah, so once it becomes 11, then it doesn't go inside. Okay, so this is the simplest loop, this is the simplest loop.
You could also do it with a for loop.
Yeah, now we're gonna talk about the for loop. So the for loop is like this. For, you say I in range, let's say 11. Okay, so and then you can say again print I, and this is gonna be print outside the loop. So we're gonna discuss what this is outside the loop. So if you run this one, this goes from 0 to 10, and then it prints the outside loop. So let's discuss what this range thing do, right? So this range thing is basically, it's kind of gives you a sequence of numbers. Right? It kind of gives you a sequence of number which are taken by this for loop one at a time. Right? So this sequence of number it's gonna create is gonna be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So like that. Okay. So if you give only one argument 11, so it's gonna start from 0 till one element less than whatever number you're giving here, right? So like suppose if n is equal to 10, and if we say range of n, so it is gonna go from 0 to 9, one less than the whatever number you are giving. Okay, so if it's 11, then it's gonna go from 0 to 10. Okay, now you can do very interesting thing in this range object. You can also say, instead of giving like this, you can say 1 comma n. Now what it will do is it's gonna start from 1 till n minus 1, which in this case will be 10. Okay. And
you
also
got to
you
make
can
it
also
skip
give a
counting.
third. You can also use a third
Skip
argument where you
counting.
can tell how much you want to skip.
Skip count.
So maybe if you can give 2,
It's gonna
then it's gonna
by
skip
two.
by
like 2,
2, 2.
4, 6.
not 2 4 1 3
Oh.
6 1
Oh.
3 like, because yeah, but if you want 2 4s you can start from 0. So now it's gonna go from 0 to
2,
4 6 8 and 10.
10.
Okay, so yeah, there is a lot to learn about how the range object works. We're gonna learn it later, okay, in detail.
Now let's make a simple.
So now there is, and also we need to kind of understand there are more like there are some things like string s is equal to, let's say, hello, right, hello world, okay, and then we have something called as list, right, which will allow you to store a list of numbers, right, 8. So what you can do is, you can also, if you want to, you can directly go over each of this element one by one,
1.
and that you can do by directly saying that for I in list. So now it's gonna go and print each item one by one, and this is a very common use case. So it's gonna go 2 4 5 7 and 8, as you can see, right. Similarly you can do with the string also. So you can say s and it's gonna print
Hello world.
one character at a time. So HELLOWORLD. So
You
it
can
goes.
probably do end one.
Yeah.
like-
Now you can do that and things if you don't want the new line. So if you don't want the new line, you can just do like this, and then it's gonna print everything kind of together, right?
And
Without.
outside.
Yeah. So that's how the for loop works. It's kind of work this way. Now there's another interesting thing about for loop. Now there are two more things about loops in general. Like it will apply to for loop as well as while loop. You know what is this? What is that? One is called break, another is called continue.
I don't know.
You don't know what is break and continue?
No.
Yeah, this is the new thing we need to kind of learn. So what is break and what is continue? Okay. So let's say you have this. So now you learned at least this part, right? That we have this for loop. This for loop works with object, right? It was working with this range thing. It also works with list. It also works with string. And it basically is a kind of, you can go each element one by one, and then you can do whatever you want to do with them, right?
Okay.
But what if you want the list, like all the item one by one, but also you want the index of that thing? What you can do? So sometimes you want the index, right?
Yeah.
So what you can do? So you can use a range, and you can say length of len of S. and now you have I, which is gonna be the index of.
It's gonna do hello world.
Yeah, so now you get the index. So we're gonna print the index, and we're gonna print. So I'm gonna show you the index. So first we'll print the index, and then we'll print the character, right, as of I. So first we'll print. So the first line will be I, right? So I will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this first item is called 0th item. The second item is called first item. Like this is the way you count. So if you print this, it's gonna start 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So these are the indexes, right? This is also gonna work with the list, right? Oh, LL. We'll probably make it LL. Okay, don't want to name it list. Okay, LL. Okay, and then we write LL here. Okay, so if you do like this, it's gonna go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and 0, 2, 4, 5, 7, and 8. Okay, we're gonna discuss in detail about these things later. Okay, so now let's see what is break and what is continue. Okay, so sometime what happens is that, let's say you are writing a function. Okay, let's say you are writing a let's not think about function right now. Without function, let's say what you want to do. You have a list. Okay, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, right? And let's say you have a number you want to search. Let's say number we want to search, right? And the number is, let's say, 7. Now you want to tell whether the number is there in the list or not. So how will you do it? Well, you can say I will write a for loop for item
Oh.
item
Item
in list. You don't have to use range, remember. You can use range if you want to sometimes, but this time I just want to check if the item is there in the list or not. For item in list, I will say if item
item
is equal to search,
search.
then you say you have found it, right? So you say I found it, right? So maybe you can print it. Okay, print I found it. I found it, and you can say comma, and you can say item. Okay. Okay. But then, do you want to continue? Do you want to do it for the 8th? Do you want to do it for the 9? Like next elements. Like if there is 8, there is 9, and there is 11. Do you want to continue? No, right? How do you stop it?
Exit.
Well, that will exit the program, right? But I want to just exit out of the loop. So how can I exit the loop? Maybe I want to run this print statement out of loop, right? And let's say I do it for every element. So the print searching, and then I am at element, let's say item, right? Item, right? So let's say if I run it, what will happen? Oh, I kind of made a mistake. Where?
Type
Is not at a level.
8
8.
for item in list.
Okay, I want to make it 11. Okay. Okay, now that should be fine. Okay, so what I did, I first went to 2, then 4, then 5, then 7, and yeah, for the 7, I kind of find it the 7 because that's what I was looking for, right? And then I went to 8, then searching, 8, there are 2 8, I think. Yeah, we want to make it 9, okay? So, I went to 8, then 9, 11, and then I was out of the loop. I don't want to do all these things, right? Once I found it, right? This is a waste of time.
Yeah.
So how can I do it? So what I can do is I want to get out of the loop. So I can do something called as break. So if I do the break, I will be out of loop. Okay.
Searching.
And then I went out of,
I found it.
and I went out of loop.
I found it. 7.
So yeah. So that's how the loop kind of you break out of the loop. Now there is something called continue. So what does continue do? So continue is like, there are other statement. Let's say I want to skip all the, let's say you are given some number, but you don't want to, you want to skip some number like even numbers. Okay. So if you want to skip all the even number while searching. So let's say you can say if item percentile 2 is equal to 0, then you say continue. So what will happen now, that it's gonna execute this line. If it's true, then it's gonna skip that number, and we're gonna go to the next one. So that's how it let you do. So now you do 5 and 7, and then you find 7. So you kind of skip all the other thing. So it's more like continuous, like if I have some statement, before and after, I can make them skip. Here let's say I put it here. Now what will happen here? So every time it goes for like 2, 4, like 2, it goes here, it prints it, it checks if it's true. If it's true, then it's gonna go to continue, and that means it's gonna skip the next statement. And then comes into 3, then it's gonna print 3, it's gonna check this one, it's false, it will not go inside for the continue, so it's gonna execute the next line, and it's gonna go next like this. So continue means it's gonna skip the next statements. Sometimes it's very useful. Okay. So some of the times you want to skip the rest of the statement, but it's not gonna stop the loop. Break stops the loop. And continue skips the next statements for the rest, for that particular
So
number.
you mean like like if you write continue in the middle, will it skip all of this and then
All the below ones, not the top one.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's say I did this one. Right? The first
Oh,
one
I
is
got it. So like continue and then all the things below it is skip.
yeah. So the moment you find continue, it's gonna skip rest of
It's
the.
just like exit.
No, exit will exit the program.
Oh.
We don't want that. Huh? Exit will exit the program entirely. Like you might have some out of loop things, na? That will also exit. So let's run this and to understand this. Okay. So now what will happen? I'm gonna print the number I, right? Then I'm gonna check if it's continue. Then I'm gonna not gonna check this part. Okay. So let's look at this one. What happens? I did 2, then I did 4, then I did 5, then I did 7, right? Oh, I did 2, 4, 5, 7, right?
Yeah.
And I did all that, and then I did this one. So let's say like I do print done, and then do item. Okay. Now what will it not do? It will print done for which one? It will print only for those one for which we did not continue.
Yeah.
Right? For example, we will continue for all the even ones. So it will only print all the odd ones. Okay. So if you check, it's only printing 5, and then it's kind of break because
Dot
for
5. That's so weird.
yeah, why it's doing only for 5? You know, tell me why.
Why?
Because for 2 it went here, right? Let me actually do the breakpoint just to understand. Okay.
So we
Debug.
debug our.
Yeah, so we debug our program. So we went into step over. Is it? So what is the number? So where is our variables? View
Variables. It's at the really bottom.
variables. Okay, so here we are. We can see our variables, right? Okay, can we not make it bigger? So right now I value is 1,
1,
right? And the item is
2.
2. Okay, I don't care about the I. We only care about the item. So item is 2. So is 2 percentile 2 is equal to 0? True, right?
Yeah.
So it will go inside. It will go inside and it will do continue. So then what will happen after continue? We are going to go back to the top of the loop. Okay, so we'll step over and we come back here. Now if we have 4, right?
It's gonna be true.
So now we're going to print this thing, right? Now 4 percentile, so modulus 2 is equal to 0. What will happen?
It's gonna go to the top again.
It's gonna go continue again. We're gonna execute continue. It's gonna go to top again. Okay. So step over. It's gonna go to top again.
5. Now it's gonna
Now
skip everything.
now what will happen? Now this is 5. So 5 modulus 2 is equal to 0. What will happen? It's false.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna execute the continue one, right?
Yeah.
So it's not gonna execute. So we went to the next one, next statement. So is item is equal to search? No. So we're gonna go to the next statement, right? We went to the next statement. Okay. We're gonna print the next one. We went to the again back to the loop, right? Top of the loop. So if we step into, so again we're gonna print this one. So what is the element? We have 7.
Yeah.
If we're gonna continue, no, right? It's gonna go outside. Is the item is equal to search? Yes. So 7 is what we are searching, right? So we'll get inside the
if statement.
if statement, right? So we're gonna print it, right? That's the first statement we have.
It.
Step over. Now what will happen? We will break. So it means we'll not go back here. Now we'll go back here. Okay. So we went here, and that's why we are done. So that's what you understand now. So the break will loop you outside the first statement, outside the loop, and the continue will make you go back to the top of the loop, right? So you can do the next iteration, right? Okay, makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So there is another very interesting thing which you can only do in Python. Do you know what is that?
What?
So Python has something called else statement. You know, this is else. Else you can do with for loop. When you know, and what it will do is, so this will only execute. This will only execute if you did not come out of the loop using a break. Okay. So let me show this one. Sometimes it's very useful, but you can. It will run only if you did not break out of loop. Okay, so if you do not use the break to get out of the loop, it will execute. Means you have to complete the entire loop. Alright, so let's see what happens. So it did not execute, right? But let's say if I do 15 here, now what will happen? Now we're gonna go complete the loop and we will never break.
Yeah.
We will never break. So it did kind of print it, right?
Yeah.
So sometime it can be useful when you're using break. I'm even thinking why, right? When we'll use it. We'll learn that later. But it's useful. So what it is, it said the else block does, if you kind of complete the entire loop, and then it will kind of do this statement. If you break out of the loop, then it will not do this statement, right? So they look at multiple statement, but it's not. And then this one is outside the entire block, this entire thing. Okay. So that's kind of what we have in loop. But the important part to understand loop is not complete till we don't understand the, all those, what you call the list, string and tuples. So we need to understand those also to understand loop, because most of the time we'll use loop on those objects, right?
Like sex, map.
Yeah, kind of. We have to understand loop, but at least at a minimum we need to learn list,
and
tuples and strings. So we need to understand them to understand the loops properly. So yeah, so that's enough. Okay, anything else left?